हम लगते हाँ ज्वाइन किए बच्चे अरे ना एक बार और ये नीचे क्या है ये समथिंग अच्छा ये कमेंट आता है कमेंट
So, good morning, children. We are waiting some time because more students will join. वो कल ही बोल दिए नहीं डाला टेम्परेटली बंद हो गया
सर ये ऊपर आओ ऊपर आओ
इधर आ रहा
आ हाँ आने दो बच्चे यार ये आ ही नहीं रहा
इधर आ गया
कमेंट आएगा कौन सी हाँ नहीं मेज में जाता है अच्छा इसके बाद में आना शुरू नहीं हुआ ज्वाइन भी ये तो पुराना है तो बाद में बी में जाओ ना जी सार का मोबाइल में कनेक्ट हुआ शायद उधर का तार नहीं हो सकता नहीं और आना तो चाहिए सबका मोबाइल में
Okay, children, are you able to hear me and see me? Please say yes. We will start the class. Are you able to see me, children? Say yes, because to my mobile connection is not coming. Yeah? Please send your yes. उनको दिखाई देगा और अपना मोबाइल में हाँ
इधर तो दे रहा है
हाँ इधर दे अभी आ जाएगा वाईफाई भी ऑन कर दिया अभी आ जाएगा अभी आ जाएगा सर अभी आ गया
हाँ
वाईफाई
नेट नहीं आ रहा था
हाँ मैं वो सब ऑन कर दिया
मेरे थोड़ा बहुत आ रहा है कभी नहीं आ रहा
So this is good morning, children. This is a new chapter. Open page number 28 of your book, the moments. Moments, page number 28. You please open. We will start. Okay. So this is a new story, children. It is about a happy prince. So a prince means what do you mean? He is the son of the king. So he should be happy always. So what happened? There was a prince when he was alive. He was happy always. So after his death, what happened? The people made a. Okay, Mr. Soni, thank you. Thank you. Video is clear. Okay. So there was a prince, son of a king. So that time what happens? The kings and princes, they used to stay in the palaces. They do not know much about the outside world. Okay, so they are always happy because they do not see the misery, the suffering, the frustration of the common people. So as long as the prince was alive, he could enjoy life because there was no sorrow. Always there was happiness. Okay, children, always there was happiness. But after his death, what happened? People made a statue of him and put him on the top. Put him on the top of a tall column in the city center. From there, he could see everything. So when he saw the statue became tall, he could see the things around. He saw the misery of the people, the suffering of the people, the poverty, the disease, the death. So he became unhappy. So as long as he was not able to see anything, he was happy. But when he saw things around him, he became unhappy. This is the story. So because he wanted to help, but he cannot help now. Why? Because he is physically dead. Moreover, his statue is also, it is tied to the pedestal. How he can go? So through a little bird, swallow, he wanted to help the people. That is the thing. So moreover, it is a also called a parable type. Parable means it gives some good message. So we know that at the end, when the God told his messengers to bring two precious gifts from the world, the messengers brought two things. What are they? Number one, the heart of the prince and the dead body of the sparrow. The sparrow became dead at last, and the prince also, his eyes were plucked out. From his body all gold was removed, and from the sword also the hilt was, from the gemstone was removed. So it became ugly. So when he was, it burst also, because when the swallow died, the prince became extremely sorry, and due to sorrow, his heart burst. So as a result, what happened? It has become a garbage, and the heart was made of lead, so it did not burn. So I put in the garbage box, and from there, two things were taken to God. What were they? Number one, the dead body of the bird. Number two, the heart of the prince. So it is given in two modules for us. We will start the first module now. Because you know, children, it is supplementary reader. So line by line we will avoid, but at best the theme we can discuss. Okay. So as I told you, in the middle of the city there was a tall column. Column means there was a pillar, and in the pillar, what was there? A big statue. The statue belonged to whom? It belonged to the prince. The prince was called Happy Prince because he lived in luxury. He led a very good life. That's why he was called Happy Prince. Okay. So the prince was happy when he was alive. So after death, what happened? People made a statue of him and put him in a tall column. So when he saw from the tall column, he could see around and he could see the suffering of the people. He became unhappy. High above the sky on a tall column stood the statue of the Happy Prince. He was glided all over with thin leaves of fine gold. For eyes he had two bright sapphires, and a large red ruby glowed on his sword head. So ruby also a precious stone, sapphire also precious stone. So two eyeballs were two sapphires, eyes, and in the sword, hilt means the handle of the sword, there was a ruby. So one night there flew over a city a little swallow. His friends had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before, but he had stayed behind. Then he decided to go to Egypt too. So because you children, you know, birds do seasonal migration. Seasonal migration means suppose a place becomes extremely cold. What if they will do? They will fly away to a warm region. So from there again, when it becomes very hot, they will fly over the cold region. This is called migratory birds. Migratory birds. So a swallow also was on its way to Egypt. Egypt, you know, it is hot, so he might have gone there before the onset of winter. It wants to go to Egypt. All day long he flew up. At night he arrived at the city. Where shall I put up? He said. I hope the town has made preparation. Then he saw the statue on a tall column. I will put up there, he cried. It is a fine position with plenty of fresh air. So he alighted just between the feet of the Happy Prince. Alighted, got down. So the swallow wanted to go to Egypt, and what he did, it alighted, got down in between the feet of the statue. It was comparatively warm. So it searched and searched for a place in the city. It did not get. So what happened? The swallow at last took rest in the pit. I have a golden bedroom, he said softly to himself as he looked around and he prepared to go to sleep, but just as he was putting his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. So the swallow was preparing to sleep because he was happy. It is such a beautiful city, beautiful, and the statue is also extremely beautiful. The body of the statue is all covered with gold. Its eyes are sapphire, and there was a rupee stone in the sword hilt. So he thought this is the best place to take rest. But when he was preparing to sleep, what happened? A drop of water fell on him. What was the drop of water? It was the tear drops of the statue. The happy prince was crying. Why? Because as I told you that the happy prince was happy when he was alive. So after his death, he was made to sit on his statue was made on a big column. He could see the things around, so he became unhappy. Then another drop. There is not a single cloud in the sky. The stars are quite clear and bright, and yet it is raining. Quite. So your teacher is telling children to be quiet, to be silent. Quiet means complete. So there was the sky was very clear. From where there were no clouds, how the raindrops are falling. Who thought? The swallow. Okay. Ruby is a costly stone. Ruby and sapphire. It may be gemstone. Ruby and sapphires. Then another drop. What is the use of the statue if it cannot keep the rain off? I must put my thinly body and is determined to fly away. The swallow thought that if I sleep here, I will be completely drenched in rainwater. That's why I will fly to the chimney. But before he had opened his wings, the third drop fell and he looked up and he saw. All what did he see? The eyes of the happy prince were filled with tears, and tears were running down his golden cheeks. His face was so beautiful in the moonlight that the little swallow was filled with pity. So he looked up. Curious means being interested to know. The desire to know is called curiosity. Curious means interested to know. Please write down. Curious. So this swallow became curious to know the meaning. Why the teardrops are falling. Then he understood that when he looked up, he saw the happy prince crying. Why are you weeping then? He asked the swallow. You have quite drenched me. Drenched means made me wet. Drenched. Made me wet. So he told that by your teardrops you have completely soaked me with water. So he saw the happy prince is crying. What is the reason? Because as I told you, he was put on a high column. He is able to see the world. When I was alive and had a human heart, answered the statue, I did not know what tears were. For I lived in the palace where sorrow is not allowed to enter. My courtiers called me the happy prince. Courtiers means the people in the court are counselors. Write down. Courtiers, counselors. So the counselors told me happy prince because I was living in the palace. I did not know what is sorrow. So I lived and so I died. Now I am a dead. They have set of me so high that I can see the ugliness and all the misery of my city, and though my heart is made of lead, yet I cannot choose but to be. So now I have a metal heart. When I was having a human heart, I was not able to feel because I did not know what is sorrow. Now I have a metal heart, but I could know what is sorrow because I am able to see the misery, see the poverty, see the suffering all around. So I am unhappy. What is it not solid gold? Shall the swallow to himself he was too polite to make any personal remark. The swallow has thought it is made of pure gold. Now it understood that the princess It was a lead heart covered with gold. So he knew the secret. Far away continued the statue in a low musical voice. Now you see the reference of will be to a seamstress. Seamstress means like a tailor. Okay. Seamstress, you write down children, tailor. So there is a woman. She had coarse red hands, all pricked by the needle, for she is a seamstress. Modern tailor. Modern meaning. Generally, one who designs suits is called a seamstress. So there is a lady in the corner. She makes some ready-made orders, petticoats for the ladies, and her hand is coarse. Coarse means rough. Generally, if you work on children, your hand will not be tender, and it will be red also. And there is mark of needles throughout because there are needle marks by working. Her son is not well. What she is doing? She is embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queen's maids of honor. So she is a tailor woman, and what she is making? Means spears. Spears. So she has needle marks, spears on her hand because she was a seamstress. So her in a bed of the corner of the room, her little boy is lying ill. He has a fever and is asking her mother to give him a orange. His mother has nothing to give him but river water, so he is crying. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not bring us the ruby out of my sword hill? My feet are fastened to this pedestal, and I cannot move. So the prince made a request to the swallow. What was the request? There is a seamstress. So what you do mean by seamstress? Seamstress is a tailor in a little street. So what she is doing? She is embroidering some flowers at the end of a satin cloth. Satin means it is good cloth, like your velvet cloth. She is preparing for the ladies. Embroidering flowers means embroidery. You might have seen the decoration. Decoration you might have seen in the cloth. That is called embroidery. Embroidery is also a different kind of stitch. Decorating by stitching flowers, making flowers and attaching them to the border of a dress. That is called embroidery. Okay. So in the bed, so what is there? Her son is not well. So the statue told, I cannot go because my feet are fastened to the pedestal. Fastened means tied up. Why? It has become, his feet is fixed in the pedestal. Pedestal means in the raised platform. The statue told, I cannot go because my feet is fixed to the pedestal, the beam, or the reach column, the elevated column. So I cannot go. So it made a request to the swallow to go and help the poor woman. How? By taking the costly gem from the hilt of the sword. As I told you, its eyes were all sapphire, and there was a stone in the hilt of the sword. So this statue requested the swallow to take that costly stone and give away to the poor woman. I am waited for in Egypt, said the swallow. My friends are flying up and down the Nile, and they are talking to the last lotus flowers. Soon they will go to sleep. The swallow told, sorry, I cannot go. Why? Because my friends have all reached Egypt. There they are enjoying. So I will remain separated from them. So please excuse me, I cannot go. Who? The swallow told the prince. Okay. The prince asked the swallow to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. The boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad. So he told, oh, you go and help because the boy wants some orange. Mother is poor, cannot give. So in this condition, if you go, it will be total unkindness. Please show your kindness by going to the baby and helping. I don't think I like boys. Answered the swallow, I want to go with you. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. It's very cold here, he said, but I agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. Initially, the swallow was not willing, but later on, the swallow agreed. And he told, okay, you are feeling so sad. So, for your sake, I will go. I will go and deliver the ruby to the lady. Thank you, little swallow, said the prince. The swallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's coat and flew away with it in his beak. Over the roofs of the town, he passed by the cathedral. Cathedral is the church. You please write down. Cathedral, CATHEDRAL. Cathedral means church. And sculptures means engraved. You might have seen in the church the sculptures, the engraved statues. So while going away, going to the women, the swallow came across the churches and the engraved statues on the road. He passed by the palace and heard the sound of dancing. A beautiful girl came out from the balcony with her lover. I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball, she said. I have ordered Babas to be embroidered on it, but the seamstress are so lazy. Because you know, the seamstress is suffering, but the other ladies of the palace, they are thinking of romance. Ball means there will be a dance. Generally in ball dance, what happens? The male and the female, they dance together. So the beautiful girl is waiting for anxiously for the dance. She is telling these seamstress. Seamstress means the tailor woman is very lazy. Okay, I will tell the highlight. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let me finish module 1. Then I will tell the highlights. Okay, couple dance. Very good. Because you are correct. So the beautiful girl told, I am waiting for the couple dance, but my dress is not ready. Why? The seamstress is very lazy. He passed over the river and saw the lanterns hanging on the masts of the ships. So in the ship, no, there are mast means poles are there. Mast means poles are there. In the poles, lanterns were hanging. At last, he came to the poor woman's house and looked in. The boy was tossing feverishly on the bed. Tossing means moving from side to side. Because children, if you have a fever, you cannot sleep. So the boy was also not able to sleep because he had fever, and in fever he was moving from side to side. Okay. So at last the swallow crossed the cathedral, the swallow crossed the big ships, and it reached the poor woman's house. She was so tired, he hopped and laid the great ruby on the table beside the woman's thimble. Thimble means a plastic or metal cup with a closed end. It's called thimble. Thimble. A plastic or metal cup. The cup is closed. Thimble. So what does Baron did? He entered into the house and jumped and entered inside, and he silently dropped the ruby in the thimble. The thimble was near the lady tailors. Then he flew gently round the bed,
fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. How cool I feel, said the boy. I must be getting better, and he sank into a delicious slumber. Delicious slumber, deep. Deep, sweet sleep. So delicious slumber is deep, sweet sleep. So the boy enjoyed also because while going, the sparrow waved his wings around the head of the boy. The boy felt happy and thought he is getting better. So he went to a sweet sleep. Okay. So as requested by the prince, the swallow went to the little woman who was a seamstress, and while going, it came across the big ships and the cathedral. So it reached there and silently entered inside. Then what it did? It dropped the gemstone in the cup near the woman. While going also, it fanned the woman's son. The son thought he is getting better and he slept immediately. Then the swallow flew back to the happy prince and told him what he had done. It's curious, he remarked, but I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold. This is because you have done a good action, said the prince, and the little swallow began to think. Then fell asleep, thinking always made him sleepy. So that day passed. That day passed with an act of kindness, and the swallow told, I am feeling warm. The prince told, it is not because of the weather, because you have done the good thing, that you helped the lady. That's why you feel warm. Then next day when the day broke, he flew down to the river and had a bath. Tonight I will go to Egypt, said the swallow, and he was in high spirits at the prospect. Prospect means future plan. Prospect, future plan. He visited all the monuments and sat a long time on top of the top steeple. Steeple means tower. Steeple. Tower. So next day the swallow planned that I will go to Egypt. So what he did, he will not get the time to see all the monuments. So it went around the city and saw all the beautiful monuments. Then it sat on the steeple and took bath in the river and became ready to go. Okay. When the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. Have you any commissions for Egypt? He cried. I am just starting. Commission means have you any message? Have you got any work at Egypt? I am starting. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, will you stay with me one night longer? I have waited for an Egypt, answered the swallow. So the next incident. The next is about a young man. The young man was told to write a play, a drama. The young man was a writer. He was poor and suffering. He was told to finish a play, but the young man was not able to write because of the cold. His hand was not working. He was so poor. He had no money to purchase firewood also. So he was lying in the cold. Okay. So because of the cold and hunger, the young man is fainting. So the prince requested the swallow to remove one of her sapphires from her eyes and give to the young man to make him happy and to make him comfortable. So the second request was to help the young man who was writing a play. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, Far away across the city, I see a young man in the garage. Garage means a small room at the top of a house. It's called a garage. So it told, I am seeing a young man, and in the glass by the side there is a bunch of withered violets. He is leaning over a desk covered with papers, and in the glass by his side there is a withered bunch of withered violets. His hair is brown and crisp, and his lips are red as a pomegranate. So the young man was very handsome. His hair was all, you may say, crisp hair, and his lips were very red. And he has large and dreamy eyes. He is trying to finish a play for the director of the theatre, but he is too old to write anymore. What the young man is trying to do, means of cathedral is church. Church you write down. You have a dictionary, keep it open. Word meanings you write better. Okay, I am also writing the difficult words. If I leave something, please see for yourself. Any doubt is there, please text to me. Okay. So the young man, what he was trying to do, he was trying to write a play as he was told by the director. There is no fire in the grate, and it is why he is fainting, because of the cold and the hunger. I will wait with you one night longer, said the swallow, who really had a good heart. He asked if he should take another rupee to the young playwright. Alas, I have more rupee now, said the prince. My eyes are all that I have left. They are made of rare sapphires, which were brought out of India 1,000 years ago. The happy prince told, now I don't have another rupee. I pluck out one of my eyes. They are very costly stones, brought from India. And you pluck out one of my eyes and give it to the young man. He ordered the swallow to pluck out one of them and take it out to the playwright. Pluck means to remove the eyes. He will sell it to the jeweler and buy firewood and finish his play. He said, dear prince, said the swallow, I cannot do that, and he began to weep. He started to cry. You are so good that you are ready to be blind by one eye to help a young man. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. Command you means order you. So the swallow plucked out the prince's eye and flew away to the young man's garret. Garret means small room at the top of the roof, is called a garret. So as told by prince, the swallow went to the young man. The young man had his head buried in his hand, so he did not hear the flutter of the bird's wings. When he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. So there was a glass full of withered means already dried up violet flowers. So the young man saw that and was surprised. I am beginning to be appreciated, he cried. This is from some great admirer. Now I can finish my play, and he looked quite happy. The young man became happy because unexpectedly he got such a beautiful sapphire. Okay. Okay. So I am beginning. Next day, the swallow flew down to the harbour. He sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailors working. I am going to Egypt, cried the swallow, but nobody minded. When the moon rose, to flew back to the happy place. So next day also, the swallow moved around the city. It sat on the harbour. It went to the harbour. Harbour means the port, and also sat on the mast of a big ship. But nobody minded. But when the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. I have come to bid you goodbye. He told, okay, happy prince, please tell me goodbye. I will go. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, will you not stay with me one night longer? It's winter, answered the swallow, and snow will soon be here. In Egypt, the sun is warm on the green palm trees, and the crocodile lie in the mud and look lazily around them. The swallow told, I am sorry. If I stay here, I will die due to the cold. The swallow told, if I stay here, I will die out of cold. So I am going. So the happy prince told him to help. How? So this time he told him to help a poor girl. The poor girl was a match girl. Match girl means she was making matchbox. So what happened? The matchbox has fallen in the gutter. Gutter means drain. Gutter means drain. So what has happened? The matchbox has fallen in the gutter and they are all spoiled. Her father will beat her. If she does not bring home some money and she is crying, she has no shoes or stockings. Stocking means socks. Okay. And her little head is a bear. Bear means naked. So the little girl is crying because her all matchboxes have fallen in the drain, and also she was poor and she was not having any stockings. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not beat her. So the statue requested the swallow to give her the other eye. First time, who was helped? The seamstress. Second time, the young dramatist. Third time, the girl who was a matchbox maker. Okay, so the swallow was requested by the prince to stay one more night and also to go and help the girl. Okay, I will stay with you one night longer, said the swallow, but I cannot pluck out your eye, you would be quite blind then. So, if I have removed one eye already, if I remove the another, what will happen? You will be completely blind. So, I cannot be so cruel. So, what I will do? I will not remove the other eye. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. So he plucked out the princess' other eye and darted down with it. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. Swooped means flew past. Okay. Okay, so it swept across the match girl and gave the jewel into the palm of her hand. What a lovely bit of glass, cried the little girl, and she ran home laughing. Then the swallow came back to the prince. You are blind now, he said. I will not stay with you always. So the girl decided that I will not leave the statue because the statue has become completely blind. So the other eye is also removed, the statue has become blind. Now the swallow has developed some kind of pity for the man, for the statue, and it is not willing to. So the highlights of the text are as follows. So once there was a prince. He was called Happy Prince. Why? Because during his lifetime he lived in the palace. Okay. So later his statue was made on a tall column. He became unhappy because he saw all the miseries. One more announcement: don't put anything in the drop box now. Temporarily it is suspended. Okay. Okay, children. Okay. Okay.
So children, you remember the incident?
Sir, continue the class chemistry start हो गया.
Okay, children, the next period.
So continue the chemistry class start हो गया.
Okay, children, bye. You please do not put anything for the time being in the box. Okay. Thank you.
ये लोग 10 क्लास
Huh?
10 क्लास हुई ना
हाँ वही ना 9th में उधर
ये 11 15 मिनट उधर चला